Hi guys, let's talk about the Black History Fact of today. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of quilts in the African American community and the multi-dimensional meanings and purposes of these quilts. So, in the African American community, quilts are passed down from generations to generations, and they can mean different things. It could have your family seal, name, any importance of like the ancestors. It could have messages transcribing things. It could tell your family history and things of that nature. Now, there also is a difference between coloring, between pattern, between the time period the quilt was made as well, with certain materials meaning certain things and certain patterns meaning certain things as well. So quilts was also an outlet for slaves during slavery to have some kind of creativity and to have something meaningful for them. It provided enslaved women with a creative outlet and a way to assert their identity and legacy during a time when reading and writing was forbidden for enslaved individuals. Now, quilts were also created out of necessity to provide warmth and comfort, but also evolved into intricate and beautiful works of art, reflecting both practical and artistic skills of African American women. Now, they also result in storytelling and memory as well. So, quilts became a way to document family history, cultural transitions, and personal experiences, serving as a visual record of African American experience. You got to remember, during slavery time, there wasn't a lot of things that enslaved people could do. So the creativity and that they made to ensure that they preserve some kind of heritage and some kind of something meaningful that their children could possibly have, or their spouse could possibly have, to hold on to their legacy. That was important to them. Now, Underground Railroad and Freedom quilts were used as well, even though it's not technically officially proven. But some believe that quilts were used to convey coded messages and directions to runaway slaves along the Underground Railroad with specific patterns, potentially signifying safe houses or directions. Now, I'm going to personally insert my own thing. I have personally seen a quilt. Actually, I've seen several quilts that were used during the Underground Railroad. One my family possesses, and I've seen some in exhibits when you go into the Deep South as well. And yes, they do actually do that. So I don't know. Anyways, I'm just telling you guys the research that I found, but I personally can debunk that and say yes, quilts were made for that as well. Now, as far as like community and tradition, quilting was often a communal activity. You know, this was a time to gather around and tell stories. I remember my, I think it was my great aunt. She was making a quilt, and I requested a quilt, but she passed away. I was a kid. She was like, "Oh, I got plenty of time to make you a quilt, baby." I was a little girl. But anyways, during the times, what they'll do when they're quilting, the African American women, and don't get me wrong, there were some African American men doing that too, but it was predominantly African American women, whoever could preserve the family history and what the quilt was for. And also too, I want to interject here, quilts were also made too, like for special like birthdays or occasions and things like that too. It kind of was a blessing from your elder to make you a quilt as well. But anyways, when the quilt is being made, this is times where children would gather and family would gather, and you would communion over food and talk about family history and why this pattern is from this. And sometimes they will actually take fabric from different locations at different time periods, and from people that have passed away, to make it meaningful. Yeah, it's just a very thoughtful gesture and very beautiful. I wish I could quilt. But yeah, it's very beautiful. But anyways, So anyways, quilting was often a communal activity. I have experienced that, with families and communities gathering to create and share quilts, strengthening bonds and passing down traditions. So legacy and inspiration. So African American quilts continue to inspire and resonate the people today, serving as a reminder of the resilience, creativity, and cultural richness of the African American experience. So that is the history on quilts and America.